All right. Hi, my loves. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. So let's get into this reading about the sun. And then we're going to get into how the sun's energy currently is impacting our relationships, just because people usually watch tarot because of relationships that they're in, or the relationships from people that they're separated from or that they're grieving from. So let's get into this. What's going on when it comes to the sun and its impact on the collective. The sun and its impact on the collective. The sun. Okay. We have purpose. Your journey is worthwhile. We have XXX, the Roman numeral for the number 30. Okay, so 30 could be synchronistic for you at this time, or maybe like tens, the number 10, or just because the bottom of the deck is the number 10. Express your truth. So maybe 10, 20, 30. There's something progressive about this energy. Maybe for you, it represents growth. The growth that you and the collective is having in their lives right now. And with this have purpose, your journey is worthwhile. I feel like collectively people are kind of in a slump, and we need to re-energize ourselves by having a frame of focus. This frame of focus, I feel like, is this purpose. So what is your purpose? Let's dive into more oracles here. The sun's influence on the collective right now. Saturn. On the deck, we have fire energy. I'm not surprised with this fiery energy here. We are talking about the sun after all. Then we have the Saturnian energy. Okay. So I feel like with whatever this is about discipline. I feel like that's the key word. Whatever thing or goal or purpose you have your eyes set on, or you will have your eyes set on, it's important that we look at how we want to build this, right? I'm hearing slow and steady wins the race. And so this is, what kind of foundation do you want to build? Again, I'm not surprised with the color red, right? It's that root chakra color, you know, linking us to our foundation. With the Saturnian energy, it's also checking us and questioning, is this necessary? This is looking at the system we have set in place, looking at our routine, you know. Is this aligned with our purpose, or is it not? If it's not, what do we need to change in order to be better aligned with this purpose? Okay, I'm going to keep pulling cards here. The sun's influence on the collective. You know, right now you may feel things are bare. Maybe you're looking around and you're like, well, I don't really have that much. Maybe it's some financial constraint that you have, and it's like, well, I would like to move forward in my life, but I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and so how can I make that happen? You know. And again, it's looking at maybe you're spending. It's looking at, do you need to get a second job? Or it's looking at, do I need to get a new job? Why do I feel like I need to settle for this position? Is it self-esteem? What responsibilities do you have? Do you have children? Do you need to provide? You know, are you tapping into all the resources that are available to you? The sun energy here. Matriel, angel of rain. I also feel like this is about humility and checking our ego. Some people in the collective are very adamant about the routine, are very adamant about the system they have in place, their spending habits, or how their lifestyle overall, and aren't going anywhere because of it. They're stuck on this wheel, this karmic wheel of life, and they're restricting their own growth. Hello, Saturn, because they cannot humble themselves and admit that, hey, maybe I am not approaching this right. Maybe I do need advice. For some of you, it's admitting, maybe I do need to explore the path of religion or spirituality. There's something about this rigid framework that you have going on that's holding you back, and you're uncomfortable with letting this go. Because maybe for some of you, obviously your ego is trying to protect you, right? But for some of you, this routine, this belief system, this structure, this mindset has been such a huge part of your life. For some of you, maybe for a very long, long time, right? Saturn is old. This is years and years and years of hardship and hard work. And maybe that was you. Maybe, you're like, well, I worked really, really hard. I did this for years, and it put food on the table for me and my family. How can I say that the way I'm going about things is wrong? It's hard after years and years and years to say, like, well, maybe if I had a different mindset 10 years ago, maybe my life would have been different. Maybe it didn't need to be this hard. I feel like, again, there's this energy here of submission with the Material card, Angel of Rain. For some people here, it's revisiting spirituality. For some of you, you may feel prompted to even go back to church. It doesn't necessarily have to be, right? You could be going back to practicing your own brand of spirituality in whatever way that works for you, right? Because I'm feeling here that collectively, some people have turned cold to God, to a higher power, just because they have focused on materialism. For some, it's just because they've had to survive, and they're like, well, this spirituality thing isn't really doing anything for me. I need to be practical, because at the end, at the end of the day, it's all about results and what you need to do in order to bring about those results, right? It's a very pragmatic mindset some people were really stuck in because they believed that clinging on to some form of belief in the higher power keeps them stuck where they are, makes them complacent. And you're like, no, 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 I'm not about that. I'm about building. I'm about growth, right? And in order for that to happen, I need to learn new skills. I need to do some hard work, right? And in a way, that's all true. But it's also knowing that maybe that wasn't 100% the truth. Maybe it's the truth that you need to, I'm hearing truth nugget, that you needed to hang on to in order to pull yourself out of a very difficult situation. But maybe the judgment that you placed on maybe your family or people in your own tradition, or cultural group, whatever that is, that had this higher belief in God or a higher power or in spirituality or whatever, maybe they weren't completely lost. You know, sure, for some people, they hang on to it and they're like, well, I'm complacent. And in some ways, it's like, well, what's really, really wrong with that? Are we really about the results? But on the other hand, it's, well, maybe that's just what they decided to do with it. Maybe they just didn't want to do any of the work. Because part of spirituality is doing work on yourself. And maybe they just wanted to live a little carefree. They wanted to leave it up to higher power to discern what will their life look like in 10 years. And again, I just feel like that didn't sit well with you. All right, I feel like we're coming full circle here in a way. It's what's the word for it? It's not an oxymoron. I can't think of the word for it. Anyways, I'm going to move on here and pull some more cards. Sun and its impact on the collective. Feel called to this card here, agape. Ooh, I love this. This reminds me of alignment. But since we're talking about root chakra stuff and foundational stuff and rebuilding, honestly, this also reminds me of like DNA, reproduction, cell division stuff, you know, like mitosis, meiosis. That's kind of what this reminds me of. It's like maybe there needs to be this realignment, right? We're talking about that. I am going to read agape because I do love the descriptions in the booklet. And it honestly has been a while since I used these cards. So, devotion, unconditional love. What if instead of putting yourself at the center of your spiritual practice, you put God, goddess, or nature at the center? How would this change your approach? Such is the energy of agape. It is alive when we are in awe and wonder, our breath taken away by the sacred force that surrounds us and asks us for nothing in return. This card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and serve. You sense the earthly as the heavenly, and vice versa. Such an initiatory moment can appear in any form, and like a healing balm to the modern soul, its effects last a lifetime. The agape card may also suggest you reassess what you worship every day, consciously or unconsciously. What are you elevating? Where does the sacred ladder you climb ultimately lead to? The Greek word agape informs the English word agape. To have the mouth agape is to be awestruck by something of breathtaking delight. We are made humble once again. Again, we're talking about, remember we mentioned humility? And we mentioned discipline earlier. I guess devotion maybe is the better word for it, as it said in the booklet. Maybe it's a little bit of both, because we're talking about devotion to your spirituality, or just asking what you're devoted to, and then also asking, are you disciplined? It takes a lot of energy to align something. So are you going to put yourself back together here and get the hell up and go after this purpose? Or are you going to realign to a new purpose? All right, let's pull some tarot. The sun's impact on the collective right now. The sun's impact on the collective right now. The Two of Cups in the reverse. The Four of Swords. The Nine of Cups. The Ace of Pentacles. All right, on the deck, the Daughter of Wands. What are you holding on to? With the Two of Cups in reverse, maybe there are some relationships that are in your life that need to fall to the wayside. I'm hearing friendships. Okay, so maybe for a lot of you, it's friendships. Maybe these are old connections, or maybe even a relationship for some that maybe you've held on to. You've kept around in your energy for a long time. It doesn't matter how long ago this was. If you've been energetically holding on to it for years and years and years, again, for some of you, it's a 10-year cycle, right? Well, let me first point out as well, we talked about how 10, 10, 10 is 30 Roman numerals. We saw the number 10 at the bottom of the deck earlier, and with this same deck, this elementals deck, and then with Saturn here, 19, 9 plus 1 is what? 10. So there's something about a completion of a cycle. So the Two of Cups in reverse, you've been contemplating on letting this go for a long time. Again, whether it be friendships or a particular romantic relationship. With the Four of Swords, deep down, you really don't want to let this go, because I feel like for a lot of you, these are at one point, these were very meaningful relationships, at least some of them, at least the ones you've held on to for like 10 years, And it's just like, wow, for some of you, it's like they made you who you are today, or there are fond memories here. With this lamb, it looks like has like this, it looks like a little sun on this lamb's forehead. And I feel like this represents, for one, the conscious mind. But I feel like this has been a huge part of your upbringing. Again, these relationships, or this particular relationship, brought you a lot of joy, at one point in your life. But again, I just feel like it's gone, and it's scary to move on, Nine of Cups, and to find who you're meant to be now on your own, and to feel content, to feel whole within yourself with this Nine of Cups. So for some of you, these are deaths in the family, or people that were like family, and you're like, I'm seeing a table here, and it's like all these plates or these dishes are laid out on the table, and some of those people aren't there anymore. They're empty chairs at the kitchen table, and it hurts. It hurts. No one said it would be easy, but with the Ace of Pentacles here, I feel like the sun, because we're talking about the sun and the universe in general, right, is giving you this new opportunity to start over, or you just feel it at your core. Look at this red here, right? We're talking about red. We had that fire energy at the bottom of the deck. And we have this red root chakra kind of looking card here as well. So I feel like at your core, something's telling you to come alive again. After, a lot of things being stripped away, you're being asked to not give up. I'm hearing it's not over till the fat lady sings. I don't know. All right, I'll pull one more oracle. And we're going to close the sun reading with this oracle. Anything else? Panther. Such a fiery energy, right? Bottom of the deck, we have Lion. We're talking about the sun below. I feel like this is going after something with such ferocity after experiencing so much pain. It's conjuring all that strength deep within, all that fire, and igniting it. I'm hearing vengeance. Okay. I don't know, it's like, I know it has a negative connotation in a lot of ways, but sometimes you can use that as a way to power through struggle, right? Something that ignites your fire. It's taking these negative emotions and doing something positive with it. Eventually, you're going to have to transform the inner emotions, but right now, I feel like it's necessary to just ignite the fire. That's really what I'm feeling here. Okay. I really want to read this Panther card, but I feel like I don't want to spend way too much time on this. So I am going to do the relationship portion of this reading. Let's dive into how the sun's energy is affecting our relationships, our relationship with ourselves, and how that's affecting our dynamic with others. All right, let's go. Woo! Okay, I think I was ready to go. We have left on red, ignored, message seen, no response. We also have this wasn't love, fantasy crashed, truth exposed, done hoping. Bottom of the deck, you never showed up. I feel like somebody ghosted you. Or, because there are a variety of situations here. In a love situation, this is somebody left you on red, very literally for some. Or it's like you don't know what happened to them. It's like they left without a trace. And you're like, okay, well, it's great. I thought there was something here. I thought I could have this soul bond, this soul connection with someone and have something meaningful and have something to look forward to, just for it to be too good to be true. For others, this is a death. This is, especially those that have lost like a loved one recently, especially. This is like, oh, I want to send them a message. I want to call them, but they're no longer here in this world, at least physically, you know? And there's a lot of, if that's the case, there's a lot of anger buried deep inside, because it's like, how could you take my person away? Or how could you take this special person away from me? That's right. That may be what you want to say to higher power or to the universe. And it feels so sudden, you know? So for some of you, like, maybe this was an unexpected occurrence. For others, maybe it's something you sort of saw coming, but nothing could ever prepare you for something like this. And all of a sudden, they're gone. All of a sudden, you're alone. And some of you there's this collective energy that has, at least the people that have dealt with a recent passing. And it's like, well, trying to accept this idea that maybe this is how life's going to be for the rest of my life. Maybe I'm just going to be alone for the rest of my days here. And it's like, you're also grieving for yourself as well. It's like you're mourning your own happiness. Okay. I kind of want to pull one more card. Used, then discarded, thrown away, devalued, emotional trash. Some of you keep looking at old photos. Or maybe this was a letter they wrote you, or a last text message they sent. You know, and if that's the case, you may never want to really get rid of this stuff because it's like this is all you have left of them. You know, I remember watching like a video of it was in remembrance of 9/11, right? And there's this lady that just never deleted her voicemail, her last voicemail that she ever received from her sister that was on one of the planes that was hijacked and was crashing into one of the twin towers, and was leaving a voicemail because she couldn't reach her, saying that, you know, this is the last time, you know, I'll ever get to say this, you know, and kind of said her words. So it was like closure, you know, kind of like goodbye, I love you, you know. And it's just, it feels like that sort of, you know. Okay. And I'm seeing here, like, so it doesn't matter what environment you're in. You could be outside, you could be in a coffee shop, you could be, you know, in your bathroom at home. It's like, this is consuming your mind. It's like, how can I move on from this? How could anyone move on from something like this? If this is a relationship, it may be going through, you know, like some sentimental stuff, right? Be accumulated between the both of you during your relationship. And it's just like, how could you? Like, I can't believe you let me go. It's like, how am I supposed to just move on? It's like, if this is letting go of a relationship where somebody just left, maybe left you for someone else, you assume, or we didn't pull any cards for them, so we don't know for sure. And everyone's going to be in different circumstances. Some of you believe that this person must have left for somebody else, right? Because what else could explain this? You know? For others, it's just like you just don't know where the heck they went. And it's just like you thought there was a spark, and then they were gone. And you're like, wow, like, am I crazy? I guess I was the only one that thought this was like chemistry, you know? I feel like in order for you to let go, you first need to get angry. You know, it's like you feel like you have to go through the motions, and I feel like you're having like these mixed feelings. And again, you're not wanting to let this person go. 8 of Pentacles in reverse. 8 of Swords in reverse. Number 8 could be synchronistic here as well. 8 is, of course, death and rebirth. Ten of Cups in the reverse. Bottom of the deck, the King of Pentacles. I feel like the person that you were dealing with is extremely stubborn. They also could have had a really big ego, and they were not willing to back down from a stance that they had, or from a goal that they wanted to achieve, or a reputation they wanted to achieve, you know. This person, I feel like, was just set on an outcome here, and they weren't going to rest That's the thing. They weren't going to rest until it was achieved. It was like a man on a mission. Something that I'm literally hearing. And in some ways, you're like, especially if you lost this person in the physical world, it's like, well, if it wasn't for you and your arrogance and you wanting to pursue this so hard, you would still be here with me. Or, you know, if this wasn't so important, like whatever this is, like this was apparently more important than me. And so you felt like this person didn't prioritize you, didn't put in as much effort as you felt like they could have. And so maybe you were really stuck in your head for a long time. And I feel like I'm feeling my throat close up. So you may have felt like you couldn't say anything against this person, or like you just didn't have the words to express how confused, how unfair you were feeling. Maybe part of the reason was because you felt like doing so would be selfish and you didn't want to not support this person with whatever they wanted to do, whatever they wanted to achieve. So you chose, for some, not to say anything, or you chose not to make an ultimatum, or I just feel like you held back on some level with your voice. Maybe there were moments where you did kind of tell this person exactly what, you know, lashed out, what was on your mind or whatever, but I don't know, if I feel like just for the most part you held back. And instead, with a 10 of cups in reverse, you just sat there pretty, you know, sat there next to this person, or, you know, whenever you would go out with this person, you just acted like everything was okay when everything was not okay. I feel like, again, this person chose status on some level, chose some kind of reputation over this connection you feel. Well, what do they have to say? What do they have to say about what they did? What do they have to say about what they did? Three of Swords. Seven of Wands. The High Priestess. On the deck, Ten of Swords. I'm hearing it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. With the Three of Swords here, they knew what they were doing to you by walking away, by pursuing something else, or prioritizing money or finances or reputation or status, or just proving that they're right by establishing something in the world. They knew that they were sacrificing this connection with you on some level. They knew. High Priestess, they knew. But they felt like they had to do this. They had to stand up and fight for this. I feel like this was their destiny. It was their destiny. but they still have a lot of regret with the Ten of Swords. Under that's the Ten of Pentacles, right? For some of you, that you had a family with this person. And this person, if that's the case, this person misses home with you. This person misses the family. This person feels like they left you to support yourself, left the kids, if you had kids with this person, to fend for themselves, to grow up really fast. Again, like, remember we're talking about that number 10 energy here? We have 8 showed up. Obviously, we had multiple 10s show up. If you're only watching the second part of the reading, if you watch the sun reading, obviously, like after I posted this on YouTube, right, you'll find that there's 10s everywhere. So this is a cycle. For someone here, it could have happened in the span of 10 years. Okay. One last card here. So what do you need to know to help your soul feel more at peace with what's ever happened here? 2 cards. I advance through my own abilities, and I consume only my fair share. Wow, look how colorful these 2 cards are. That really stands out to me. There's something here about television that's really standing out to me, or like consuming and learning information about maybe putting yourself out there. I feel like it's like learning how things work, maybe behind the scenes, or I'm hearing stage right, stage left. Maybe you're gonna go back to school and study theater. I don't know, film. But I just feel like there's something about that is here. Or you're seeing like TV as just an act, or there's something about that here. Like, is this all a show? Is this all for some kind of display? Again, like there was that person that you were connected to that was going after some kind of reputation. And so maybe you're studying this world that this person was a part of on some level here. I'm seeing you putting together the pieces. You may write something about this, or like you may write a book about this, or you may have some kind of idea on how to broadcast this information, or I'm just seeing you having some kind of idea. Whew. Bottom of the deck, we have I converse with awareness. Yeah, again, like something about your voice expressing this idea. You might write a speech or something, and you may like relay that on camera on some level. And maybe you need to say something that's like level-headed, like something that like where you speak your truth, but it won't rub people the wrong way. You know, there's people with opposite opinions here or opposite beliefs, and you're like, there's people on the left, there's people on the right that I have to worry about. This could be political, you know, and it's just like, I want to say something, I want to express my truth. But at the same time, I have to watch how I'm saying this. There's that energy here. Yeah, and if that's you on some level, you're on the right track. I feel like, you know, this was supposed to catapult you on this path. Okay, I do feel like your person, though, despite what they did, you did have a lot of respect for them. Maybe they did teach you a lot about yourself, or you learned a lot from them as well. Maybe they challenged you, and although you didn't like every part of it, it made you grow. And you can take that information with you into this next phase of life. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you found this fascinating or you resonated with this on some level, please hit the like button and maybe consider following me here on TikTok or maybe subscribing to my YouTube channel. I appreciate all the love and support. And I'll be, again, posting this on my channel at some point, maybe today or tomorrow, if you want to rewatch it. All right, bye, y'all.